here's Candace Owens. We should just say, like, people should be aware of what's going on at the Daily Wire. There's a lot of dissension because Candace Owens has been a big defender of Kanye West. She has been really adamant that he is not an anti-Semite.
Oh, yeah.
And if you think he is, you're being dishonest.
Yes. And it's pretty obvious to just about anybody who understands what the words anti-Semite mean that he's an anti-Semite.
But regardless, it's always it's difficult when you have a house divided, right? That's the thing is like the true tragedy here, it's not Kanye's anti-Semitism. It's the fact that the Daily Wire fam, they can't get along on this issue.
But remember, no one controls what Candace thinks or says, okay?
And here she is.
I think it should be abundantly obvious, based on the way that I cover news topics and the way that Ben Shapiro covers news topics and our varying opinions, not just me and Ben, me and Matt and Michael Knowles, that nobody is controlling the other person. I mean, what examples do you need? Ben was very pro-vax. His wife is a doctor. He likes vaccines. He's vaxxed his children. He got the COVID vaccine. I was staunchly and remain staunchly against not just the COVID vaccine, all vaccines. I am a proud non-vaxxer. I did not vax my children. I believe that the big pharma collusion has been happening for a very long time.
I got news for you. She's lying. There's no school that she's going to or sending her kids. Is she homeschooling her kids?
Unless she is doing that, then yes, she's lying.
Unless she's homeschooling her kids, she has got them vaccinated with something. Is she homeschooling her kids? And how old are they? Because eventually they're going to leave the house.
Yeah, I don't know yet. She does have videos saying withdraw your kids from state schools, but I don't know if she has a kid old enough to be in school.
Yeah, at least per Wikipedia, her son was born in January of 2021, and she just had a daughter in July of this year. So
okay.
So they're
yeah, we'll see about that then. We'll see about that.
Staunchly against not just the COVID vaccine, all vaccines. I am a proud non-vaxxer. I did not vax my children. I believe that the big pharma collusion has been happening for a very long time. I respect Ben's right to get vaccines and to vax his children, but I disagree with that. Ben was a supporter, is a supporter, I guess, of President Zelensky and what's happening in Ukraine. He believes Ukraine has a right to defend itself against Russia. I believe that it's all part of a money laundering operation and that President Zelensky is no better than Putin. I believe that what is happening over there is us moving from Afghanistan, the money that we were spending every single day, and it's a part of the military industrial complex. And so I do not support anything in Ukraine. We don't agree on many topics. And if we did, and he was controlling me, he would be doing a very bad job of controlling me based on what we talk about. And I think that it was really crappy for somebody who was a friend of mine. I say that on a platform. But I also think it's really crappy for everybody to keep thinking that I have to answer and agree with every single thing that Ye says. I am not his spokesperson. I am not Kim de Balenciaga. All right. I am not working on that campaign. Please stop tagging me in every single thing that he says and saying that my silence is violence. I, of course, do not agree with every single thing that Ye says. I don't agree with every single thing that I say. When I look back 4 years, I go, you know what? I have a different perspective on this. And I would like to be able to amend my former perspectives.
Yeah, she's had a tough time, folks. I love the idea, like, I do not believe that Ukraine has the right of self-determination when Putin attacks. That's a weird...
same as Zelensky. You know, it's everyone else who is calling on me to maybe amend my comments about how, well, how dare you accuse him of anti-Semitism. I'm not the bad guy in this instance. You're the bad guy for not expressing or allowing for the free exchange of ideas here at the Daily Wire.
I'll tell you what I really want is somebody who's going to school with her kids in a year or two to ask the administration at that private school that she's going to send her kids to. Do these kids have like tetanus shots and rubella shots and whooping cough shots and like... They don't have their shots, measles shots. I don't think so, folks.
She wrote on Parler a month ago, anybody correlating Ye to Adolf Hitler should no longer be taken seriously as a commentator, politician, or journalist anymore. Just an absolute joke. Funny. He pretty much said, I love Hitler a million times on Alex
It's always
Jones.
funny the language they use too, like the equating them. Like I don't think people like equated them so much as say like there's some similarities in terms of the egotism that makes like a stand-up comedian.
Or
this
that
guy's
he
very
was
self-involved in a way that
saying anti-Semitism, so it echoed like Nazis.
I like these more than the Nazi, yeah.
Yeah, and she's in a tough position with this Balenciaga thing because that's what's funny is, so it was a campaign that alluded to, it had children in kind of like BDSM-esque outfits, and then there was a case. If you zoomed in on the photo, a case file that involved child pornography that I think went to the Supreme Court. And so, that is just a fashion designer trying to stir up, or whoever did the PR campaign for this, trying to stir up controversy, and now their name is in the news. So it's a win for them, even if people are obsessing over it. But the people that are obsessing are these QAnon folks that want to see pedophilia in every corner of Hollywood. And Kim Kardashian, his ex-wife, had to disavow it. Kanye's out of his mind right now, so he's still defending it, saying, I love Balenciaga. There could not be more of a chasm between what Candace Owens says she stands for and what Kanye is putting out there in regards to Balenciaga. So that tension is fun.
I also missed the thing from a few weeks ago where Candace Owens quote tweeted Max Blumenthal saying that organizations like the ADL aren't as necessary because secular white Jews are prospering and that Zionism is contingent upon Jewish insecurity. And then Shapiro screenshotted that tweet of Candace Owens quote tweeting it, basically saying, I said something similar about the NAACP, but you shouldn't say that. If you try to disrupt the trauma economy, you get punished. And Shapiro was like, this is a bad look for retweeting Max Blumenthal, who is a promoter of a lot of Jew haters, is a really bad thing. And Candace Owens was like, you have my number. We could have settled this privately.
Well, that's what's funny. Is
I didn't even realize Blumenthal had any sort of involvement in this spat.
I got slackling. Do it publicly. That's the thing is we want to see you have this. The whole thing you're selling is we have a diversity of opinions here.
Yeah. Well, then let's see the debate.
Put them on.
Let's see the debate. Without a doubt.
This reminds me, though, as they talk about their differences on vaccines, and Candace Owens comes out as just a full anti-vax. This reminds me of a clip from a Dave Rubin from, let's see if you can see the date there. It's with the Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. I forget her name, but this woman who's a skeptic, and this is a pro-vaccine segment from years ago with Dave Rubin. I thought we could enjoy this. Posting this is what finally made David block me on Twitter.
Vaccines, make a mess.
Should I make a mess first? Let's start with this. I'm going to show you, take a look at this. This is a map, and you can see in this map how over the last couple of years that the amount of parents that have chosen to opt out of getting their kids vaccinated for measles has increased in California. So these are parents that use the personal belief exemption to get their kids not vaccinated, so they didn't have to take the vaccinations. How was that? That was pretty good. That was pretty good.
Those red clusters there that you see are more than 5% of the population. And those are just verbal claims, people who have actually said on paperwork that they are taking that personal belief exemption. A lot less people get vaccinated even than that.
Right. Okay, so let's start for just the layman, basic people that know nothing about science. Okay. People don't want measles, right?
No, you don't want measles.
You don't want measles, so they vaccinated us for measles. You've been vaccinated for measles, right? I've been vaccinated for measles.
You remember it was called the MMR vaccine, probably, right. The measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine. And these sound like Victorian diseases, don't they? Right. Rubella. Who do you know that's had rubella?
Right, exactly.
And same thing with measles. I mean, it was all but eradicated, really, in America, the same way we think of polio as having been eradicated. We were very close to eradicating measles, and now we're seeing it creep back into the population.
Right. Okay. So that sounds crazy that it's coming back. So why would people not want to have their kids vaccinated?
Well, this is a complicated issue, and I think it's easy sometimes as a science communicator.
They get into it.
There it is. And so Dave Rubin was like,
that's a Cara Santa Maria.
Right.
He's a weather vein.
Old friend from TYT's, maybe. That's when he was closer to sanity.
Oh, she was on TYT too?